Hello, everyone. So through our law office, we've received a number of cases where the sellers have set dates for offer presentations, and they receive a whole bunch of offers, and it turns out that the highest bidder goes in firm, puts down a deposit of 30 or 50,000 or whatever it is that's negotiated in the agreement, except the deposit's not actually in the hand of the purchaser or the person making the offer when the deal is accepted, and most of the time it's to be paid upon acceptance. And if you're using ORIA's agreement, upon acceptance means within 24 hours of the actual confirmation of acceptance being executed. So we've seen a number of cases come through where the buyer all of a sudden the next morning has cold feet because they feel like they've overpaid for the property, and naturally they have buyer's remorse. And so sellers come to us and say, well, can I sue for my deposit? Well, in this situation, the first thing I would recommend is that the client seller not mutually release the buyers from the transaction. I think the number one mistake most sellers will make is that they'll have the mutual release executed, or the realtor will advise to execute the mutual release so that they can go ahead with another offer. Once the parties found in breach of contract by virtue of not depositing the funds as required, because time is of the essence in the agreement, in essence, the buyer's in default, and you technically and legally are not required to mutually release the actual buyer. So rather than sign a mutual release, simply have the sellers mitigate, or if you are a seller, mitigate your loss by going to the next person who made the offer or relisting the property, whatever, and try to dispose of the property again. Once this is done, if you find that the actual sale price of the property has gone down and you've made a reasonable effort to try to get the same kind of value that you got with the original purchaser, you may be able to sue the actual original purchaser for the differential. That's the whole point of contract law. So the idea is that you mitigate, and if you're not able to get what you bargained for originally, you can sue in damages for the difference. Now, the deposit is always seen as a good faith deposit. So if the original buyer fails to put forth the deposit and it's a substantial enough amount, we'll often refer to litigation lawyers who will then take up the case and actually sue the first buyer for the deposit. Because it's good faith, they're obligated to pay that out. A lot of buyers think that, okay, well, I won't put down the deposit, nothing's going to happen. I think the fundamental mistake for most sellers is that they'll sign an actual mutual release. And that thereby releases the actual buyer from any sort of an obligation. But if you don't sign that, you mitigate your loss and you go to court, there's a good chance that you will get either the full deposit or a good portion of it, and you'll be able to seek all of the damages that you suffer as a result of that buyer's default in pursuing the contract. So I hope that helps. Always remember that if you need legal advice, give us a call. We're more than happy to take your queries, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.